Yesterday, I saw an entire flock of birds go over my vineyard, over other vineyards, turn around, and all land in this cherry tree. A cherry tree that is on the edge of my vineyard. But it made me think, when there will be 400 trees at least on the vineyard, how much will the vineyard itself now, that is part of a gigantic monoculture, how much will my vineyard help become the natural environment that the vine should be in? So it became a hope. This flock of birds became a hope that restoring the health of a vineyard will actually be the restoration of natural environment that is not only for man, not only for the benefit of man, but also the benefit for all of nature. The birds will have 400 new trees only on my vineyard. So I could only imagine, with the stresses of time, the stresses of climate change, that all of this parcel could eventually become part of that environment, survive, and help as well with our culture, the Latin culture. It is a beautiful thought. It is possible. When I speak about Vitiforestry, very commonly in this particular village, people mention a program that was done through the schools where they planted trees. But Vitiforestry is not about planting trees, really. Planting trees is one thing, it's one element. And when we talk about planting trees, this is what is mentioned to be. What is it? 8 trees in a line on the side of a vineyard. That's not the essence of what needs to be done. I'm glad there's 8 more trees in the village, but that's not the point. The point is, at what point does changing the vineyard itself changes the whole environment, so that now the whole environment rests upon solid principles dictated in large part by nature, but also overseen by human beings, rather than the other way around. That is the key. That is the key to returning birds. That is the key to returning animals. I've seen a lot of rabbits on the vineyard. That's the essence of what needs to be done. Not just planting some trees here and there, a feel-good type of measure, but rather changing the vineyard so as to change the environment itself. And that's what the birds made me believe. This flock of birds I spoke about earlier, that's what these birds made me believe. So all of a sudden, within a certain scale, it's possible. And I wouldn't say easy, but not as complicated as we think it may be. Well, last week we saw that I was doing relevage, and that is putting these vines in between the wires in order for them to not fall, as a vine will fall on its own. It needs something to grab onto. So we had the relevage. The year started with laying her down on the wire, then tying her up, and then it's time to get it up. And then after that, we cut the tips. But again, I don't mean to be contrary about everything, but I do ask questions, and I have the luxury of having access to these three top vineyard engineers who have suggested to me that that is actually a bad idea to do it, to cut. The idea here is, of course, if more of the vines grows, the energy and the juice will not ripen, will not make big grapes, which is not so correct, because at the top here, what happens is the apex. The apex, actually, we know now, produces a hormone called auxin. And the auxin actually is a growth hormone for the entire vine, including the roots. And so, as the auxin is released, the roots actually grow deeper. We know that possibly because of climate change, the roots of vines are not as deep as they used to be. But the question asks itself, that maybe this practice, which was probably useful, say in the 1930s, 20s, whatever, back at the time, is really detrimental now. There's a woman, I remember seeing her on TV in Burgundy, very well known. And she likes to, instead of cutting, she likes to roll them up, roll the tips. And the idea at the time was that it hurts the vine. But that is not so. That is not so. It doesn't hurt the vine. That I got confirmation from the system I installed years ago. A monitoring system of stress. And actually the vines don't mind so much the trimming because it does make bigger grapes. And they seem to appreciate that. But as they grow, we do need to have deeper roots. The roots are no longer deep enough. So I'm going to let mine grow, roll it probably, and contribute again to the healthier vines so that they are self-sustaining. So I'm glad we got it up. And I'm glad I'm not cutting anymore. It's a very beautiful thing. I appreciate having falling into this scientific, practical, cultural world that is giving me a lot of provoking thoughts. Really, really enjoy it. Well, here we can see with the leaves down on the ground that the second trimming of the year, second pruning, was done very recently. As I mentioned, it may not be the best timing to do so, or even the best practice. This is what I call the straight A student, always doing things properly. You can see it's very square. It's sort of like the trees on the Champs-Élysées. This idea of work well done. You can see that the vineyard itself is clean. That's what they use. They use the word clean, propre. No grass on the ground. Right next door is not done yet, and the ground is the same. I'm assuming it's the same parcel because there's no wide in between. But you see, it's still going, and to me, it's very much letting it go. It's a balance between control and freedom, and this is, to me, it's very much a woman waking up in the morning. She's beautiful, you know, the hair is all over the place, and it's just let her be, and let's not control every aspect of everything. And maybe And actually, in my mind, definitely the wine itself will be better. It will be more, with more character, more angle, more curves. Let it be. That is my mantra almost. Just let it be. And it's